Hi everyone, good evening, welcome back to my video or channel. Mitchell here, back on my Sports Hub. I'm just going to be doing a description as I'm still hyping up for college football season. I'm going to be doing this on the projected bowl games from the $10 magazine I've been reading the last day or so on the college football teams and who everybody's predicting to win this season and the bowl games. It's just really interesting to see which seniors are coming back and juniors, especially when five-star recruits come in. That's when teams really have a chance for huge bowl implications and college playoffs and all that comes along the way. And SG1 Sports, I would like to thank him and shout out to him for all the dedication he's doing to entertain us college football fans to hype up for this season with top 10 Friday games I just watched. He also does simulations on some of the biggest college football games of the year that I look forward to watching myself. So thank you for that. And I read one on Michigan. They have Chase Harrison back for their senior year, and then the other on Wisconsin. Since I'm a Green Bay native, I still follow the Wisconsin Badgers outside of Michigan. I mostly cheer for them, but I forgot Jonathan Taylor is only a junior. He's going to return for his junior season, so that's going to be huge for the Badgers because he'll be a Heisman candidate this year. He's one of the best running backs in the nation, and depending on how far they make it, he might be a Heisman runner-up or something like that. So, without any further ado, here's a way too early bowl projections from the magazine I bought at Wally World yesterday. It's a great way, like I said earlier in the video, to prep for an amazing college football season that will be on our way. So first, we have the R+L Carriers New Orleans, though, and Appalachian State, who beat Michigan years ago, would meet Marshall. Bahamas Bowl, Florida Atlantic will play Western Michigan. The Auto Nation Cure Bowl, Temple has Arkansas State. That's happened quite a few times where those teams usually get into the bowl game. So I see that one being a good early one. The Camellia Bowl, Northern Illinois would play Troy. Cincinnati would play Ohio. In the Boca Raton Bowl, it's the MAC versus Cincinnati's conference, whatever it is. You can correct me down below, please, on which conference Cincinnati's in. Oh, actually, the American Athletics. So I was just thinking basketball because they're in UConn's conference for college basketball. So see American Athletic versus the MAC. It's a good enough bowl for college football fans to watch right before the Christmas holiday. It's around December 23rd or something like that. We'll move on to New Mexico Bowl. It'll be Southern Miss and Fresno State. That's always seems to be where Fresno is in, or Boise. So it'll be between them two to probably decide the Mountain West Conference title. And the Mountain West Conference Championship is usually fun to watch, even though it's West Coast, really late at night. The teams really battle for the gridiron after a while for the conference fight, for the conference match championship, and birth to a decent enough bowl game, I would say. We have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. We have Buffalo playing Utah State, and the Utah State's in the Pac-12 conference, so that would actually be a good game against Buffalo, who's also in the MAC. So as Christmas rolls around closer, the matchups get a lot better. Now, and I'll just scroll down through the other projected matchups because there's not enough big schools yet. The Las Vegas Bowl, though, holy Toledo, right before Christmas, 2 or 3 days before. We have the UCLA Bruins playing the Boise State Broncos. UCLA's where former Michigan quarterback Wilton Speight has played for a really long time. I really am interested to see that game if it happened and against Boise State, because Boise State's very due to have a good year this year, and they have a lot of new recruits coming in, and that might actually be a really good prior to Christmas game, like I said. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl will be between BYU and Hawaii. The Quick Lane Bowl, that's when the Big Ten starts. Boston College, who was really improved for a football school, they would play Pat Fitzgerald's Northwestern Wildcats, which are one of college football's new elite for how well they've recruited. And I respect Pat Fitzgerald as a Big Ten fan, as an awesome head coach. I wish as a Packer fan we got him, but I know he's really built a home in Northwestern, and they have a great future coming. So they have Northwestern, the Quick Lane Bowl. The Military Bowl, we have Pittsburgh against Houston. The Belk Bowl, it'll be decent. Florida State, which they're trying to improve after a really bad year last year, not even barely being bowl eligible under 500, and they still were barely in a bowl game. They would play Mississippi State. in the Holiday Bowl in California, I think in San Diego or something. It's Nebraska that plays Washington State, and Washington State lost to Washington in a battle of in-state rivals for the Pac-12 championship. It was a really boring all-field goal matchup, but it'll really come down to which one wants the Rose Bowl or the Holiday Bowl more, I guess. So it'll be Nebraska against them as of now. In the Independence Bowl, we have NC State playing Kentucky. The Cheez-It Bowl, Texas Tech, who is the runner-ups in basketball in the national championship, they would play the Trojans of USC. The Camping World Bowl, it's Virginia versus TCU. It's in Orlando, Florida. Texas Bowl, it's live from Houston. Baylor would play Lake Forest. In the Armed Forces Bowl, we have Iowa playing Air Force, Fan McCaffrey's squad. We have the Pinstripe Bowl. Actually, Rick Kranitz Fan McCaffrey is a basketball coach, so it's Rick Kranitz's Iowa Hawkeyes. I don't even remember their head coach, so comment down below, please, on that, too. In the New Era Pinstripe Bowl from the New York Yankees Stadium 2 days after the Christmas holiday. It's Syracuse playing Purdue, which I say that might be a decent game, but the Pinstripe Bowl is usually for teams that have really improved, and last year was really boring with Wisconsin winning in a blowout fashion 35-3, so that really wasn't that entertaining of a game for whoever they played. In the Alamo Bowl, we have Iowa State playing Washington. In the Citrus Bowl, which I'm not sure if it's the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl, but regardless, New Year's Day, it'll be Michigan State playing Texas A&M. I see that being a really good game because Texas A&M, under their new head coach, they're really starting to change their program again and to be one of college football's new elite, just like they were with Johnny Football. But it shows that they get into a New Year's Bowl that would really put their name out there. I think Steve Spurrier is actually coaching for Texas A&M, so that would be a really cool matchup against Mark D'Antonio's Spartans. In the Music City Bowl, which I attended a few years ago, between Tennessee versus Nebraska, a blowout where our family ended up leaving in the third quarter of the game, but it's phenomenal being at a bowl game, folks. I would do it. If you're looking into going to one someday. It was such an amazing experience, and Nashville's an amazing city. So for this bowl, and it was fun to be at, we would have Virginia Tech playing Missouri. In the Hyundai Sun Bowl, which is always on CBS yearly, it'll be Miami playing Utah. In the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Oklahoma State, which is improving, they'll play South Carolina, who is also improving since Steve Spurrier is not their head coach anymore. I guess they're starting to improve because the Liberty Bowl is pretty decent since it is close to New Year's. In the First Responder Bowl, we have North Texas and West Virginia, and that's good for North Texas because they play closer to New Year's Day if they're in that type of bowl game, and they'll play the Mountaineers, which is Will Grier's former squad because he ended up getting drafted, which I wish the Packers got him as a backup, but it is what it is. So Will Grier will be gone this year, and they have him playing in the First Responder Bowl, so it'd be decent enough, but North Texas, holy crap, that would be a really good bowl for them to be in. Now we have another Florida Bowl coming after I explain the Arizona Bowl. San Diego State Aztecs will play Georgia Southern, which that would be a really good college basketball matchup right now. Steve Fisher, former Michigan head coach who won the 1989 national title and led the Fab Five to a couple national champions. It's his former school, and I'm talking different sport, but hey, that's how I know San Diego State, and they would play Georgia Southern, who's also had a Cinderella moment a few years ago, as most remember, in the NCAA tournament, when their coach really celebrated maybe a little too hard, but that's a great part of the one shiny moment, those moments that everybody remembers forever. So it's that type of matchup. It's in the Arizona Bowl, which will actually be decent 50 to 60 degree weather around New Year's. In the Outback Bowl, we're back to the Florida Bowls. We have Penn State, Trace McSorley's former school, against the Tigers of Auburn. In the Birmingham Bowl, we have Arizona State playing Memphis. And the Dollar General Bowl, Toledo will play Louisiana. I think since the bowl games start December 20th, right prior to Christmas, I think following New Year's they'll play Saturday or Sunday bowl games outside of when the NFL games are. So stay tuned to ESPN on when the bowl games will transfer compared to earlier compared to earlier when the bowl games are usually the weekend of the 14th. So they're going to move up. So now, without any further ado, we have the New Year's 6 coming up. In the Rose Bowl, it's revealed that Ohio State would play Oregon. Boo! But I think Oregon will make the Rose Bowl. They're really definitely an understatement in the college football world this year. They would play Ohio State, which is our rival as a Michigan fan. They have Michigan playing the UCF Golden Knights in the Cotton Bowl Classic, which is in Dallas, Texas. Hope we're not in this bowl, but if we're in New Year's 6 and Shea Patterson senior year, I'll still take it. But I really have high expectations on the Rose Bowl or playoffs or the college football playoffs no matter what. It's time for Jim to have the big wins and really get into the big games like we've anticipated for since 2015. We still haven't gotten it. We'll go back to the other teams now. The Capital One Orange Bowl, it would be Notre Dame versus Florida. Notre Dame has a really tough schedule. They have they have Georgia, which is on the road. They're in Michigan. They obviously have Michigan State, who they have annually, and they have a couple more knowable opponents, and then they were mostly on the road, so they have a really tough road schedule this year, especially the three that I just mentioned for Notre Dame. They're gonna have a really tough one, but for now they're in Miami, Florida for the Orange Bowl, battling the in-state Gators. So Miami must be really down this year. If Florida's supposed to be good, and they do have Felipe Franks back, so watch out for Florida this year. In the All-State Sugar Bowl, it's Texas versus LSU. Sam Ehlinger and also LSU's quarterbacks coming back, so that would be a phenomenal Sugar Bowl actually if it happened. I wish it was easy, not to say it could happen in the playoffs, but unrealistically, Alabama or Clemson will have to lose at least 2 games, and I don't see that happening this year. And Ed Orgeron's LSU Tigers are just improving. The LSU-Florida game was an instant classic last Thanksgiving weekend. I stayed up till about midnight Central Time watching the end of that. Just a thrilling college football ending. That's what college sports are all about, and that would be a heck of a matchup. Ehlinger versus LSU's quarterback, who's also returning this year for his senior season. For the Peach Bowl, we have in the first college football playoff, we have Alabama playing Oklahoma, the rematch of last year. Tua versus Jalen Hurts, but actually Alabama has Jalen Hurts transferring to Oklahoma, so and Tua will also be back with Alabama. So they really met up. This would be down to the gridiron because Jalen Hurts is now for Oklahoma. I'm really excited to see what he can do, and really excited to see in the Big 12 title if either them or Texas would have the guts to battle Alabama and hopefully challenge them in the college football playoff game there. And unfortunately, the Rose Bowl isn't back for the college football playoff till the 2021 season because it switches every 3 years between all the other New Year's 6 bowls, between all the other 5 Rose Bowl games. We have the Clemson Tigers versus Georgia Bulldogs, and they obviously have a rematch revealed. Clemson, Alabama, with Alabama winning it all again. Comment, like, subscribe, and comment. I want to hear your guys' opinions on the way too early bowl projections. It's not too early to describe it right now because we're in June and I'm getting hungry for football season. So just leave me your comments below on maybe your playoff predictions other than Alabama and Clemson. As I mentioned in videos before, I'm ready to see different teams battle it out in the college football world. Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely night.